Thank you very much indeed, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Mr. Dowd. The historians, of course, will write in amazement about Brexit. The swagger of its proponents, the vanity, the false promises and lies, the salutary sight of focused Brussels negotiators sitting well-briefed at the negotiating table opposite a series of hapless, unbriefed Tory ministers. The laughable suggestion that other EU countries would be so envious of Brexit that they would rush to emulate it. The sage advice from our friends ignored, the Brexit enthusiasts, Trump, Farage and Putin, whose malign presence alone should have served as a warning. The campaign tinged with racism and attacks on foreigners, the misplaced triumphalism, the sheer vulgar philistinism, the disdain shown for the people of Scotland. If you're in the European Union, you can leave. But if you're in this union, your voice doesn't count. Now, I was on the BBC's debate night recently. I was up against a Scottish Tory MSP, and a member of the audience asked her what benefits she thought Brexit had brought. Do you know what she said? She said, none at all. Full marks for honesty. But the Scottish Tory press office, of course, went into meltdown, and I'm not sure she's been seen since. We all know the truth about Brexit, but we don't expect for a moment that the Tory UK government will do as today's petitioners demand. The embarrassment would be too much for this apparently unembarrassable administration. And what of my Labour friends? Alas, they are leaderless and sinking on Europe. They are now a party tethered to the anchor of a failing Brexit. Honourable exceptions, I'm talking about the party leadership. Now, I know Brexit leaders haven't suffered. Some rewarded with seats for life in the Lords as unelected legislators. Many we know having searched family histories or exploited the generosity of the Irish government for passports can skip past fellow Britons queuing long hours at EU borders. But what of our constituents who suffer from Brexit? My constituency, Oakland and South Perthshire, straddles rural and urban areas. Brexit, rejected emphatically by the Scottish electorate, has impacted every single part of it. Young people have lost access to the incredible Erasmus scheme. Previously, medical students and young social workers could go on a long work placement in Germany and bring their experience back. Students from all backgrounds could spend a year in France or Spain or Romania to improve their language skills and widen their horizons. The replacement, the so-called Turing scheme, for Alan Turing, how sad that his name should be associated with it. Well, it promised worldwide advantages, but not for my constituent to travel to Singapore via Turing. Once there, he was told that there was no money left in the pot to fund his continued stay. He was offered no alternatives, no assistance. Typical bungling Brexit chaos. My amazing office team had to work with him to find all sorts of odd and unexpected allowances, bursaries and funds that would plug the gap. I have the oldest distillery in the country in my constituency, Glenturret. Pre-Brexit, the boss told me last week, they delivered without impediment all across Europe, sharing lorries with other companies for cost and environmental reasons. Now, if any other firm on the shared transport has made the slightest paperwork mistake, all their goods collectively are sent back with export and other duties. One consignment was sent back twice. The first time as the whisky was labelled from Scotland. The second time because it was labelled from Britain. The rules we've negotiated mean that neither name is recognised. Ironic, eh? Global Britain. It takes longer, according to the whisky boss, sometimes to get whisky to Paris than to Japan. And that's not because it's becoming quicker to get to Japan. Getting to Paris has simply become a nightmare. Company in my constituency, Glenturret, the distillery, and how they've had to design new labels for every market within the European Union. 7 different labels with all the added cost. They've had to abandon smaller markets in the Baltic states and elsewhere. The added costs wipe out any profits there. Then there are firms in my constituency crying out for labour. We've heard about this before. Fruit, which is rotted in fields across the country because EU workers can't get visas. My constituency hotels can't open to full capacity either for the very same reason. Now, one owner implored me to hand-deliver a letter to UK ministers. If only they knew what was happening on the ground, he said, they would do something. I said, they know. They don't care. Brexit zealots would have us living in caves if it meant delivering the pure Brexit isolation that so many of them crave. So as we wait, perhaps forever, for Brexiter Tories and a Labour front bench wearing Brexiter clothes which fit so badly, we can, I suspect, offer petitioners today little hope of a Brexit apology from Westminster. These benches, the SNP, offer the only unambiguous pro-EU vision. We want to rejoin the EU at the first possible opportunity. Scotland, independent and within the European Union, will, like our long-term ally and near neighbour Denmark, enjoy excellent access to trade. Our ancient and modern universities and networks of colleges will reconnect with thousands of institutions across the EU to share research, opportunities and students. Young people will be able once more to live, love and work across the EU as my generation did. We will thrive as part of a cooperative team of nations, small and large. And we know we've friends across the Union, the European Union. As my friend, the member for Stirling, would say, keep a light on for us. We're coming back soon.